Raya and the Last Dragon is a new Disney animated film that is directed by Don Hall and Carlos Lopez Estrada. The setting of this film is a fantasy world called Kumandra, and long ago in this world, humans and dragons lived together in harmony. However, one day, sinister monsters came and threatened the land, so dragons sacrificed themselves to save humanity. Fast forward to 500 years later, these sinister monsters are back, and it's up to Raya, who's a lone warrior, to track down the last dragon and stop these monsters once and for all. So I was excited for Raya and the Last Dragon. I thought the trailers looked great, and I'm a huge fan of Disney. Disney has produced many wonderful films over the decades, and I'm telling you right now, they're not going to stop anytime soon. So I saw this movie on Thursday night in theaters, and I have to say, I thought it was really solid. Raya and the Last Dragon is an animated movie that has a lot to offer, and it's undoubtedly one of those movies that the whole family can enjoy. This film has beautiful animation, and at this point, it's a cliche to say that about Disney films, but they manage to impress me every time with how better they are getting with animation. It's to the point where it just seems realistic. It's crazy, but the animation here is stunning. The action sequences are exhilarating, they're fun, exciting, and they're overall really well shot. But beyond the animation and the action sequences, this film has compelling characters and a great story. Raya is my favorite character in the entire movie. She is someone who is sympathetic, she has a lot of compassion, she has a lot of heart, and she's a badass warrior. Her action sequences, as I stated before, they're a lot of fun. And the great thing about this character, too, is that there's a reason why she's on this mission. I mean, beyond the fact that she's doing it to save the world, there's also a very personal reason she's doing it. And I'm not going to spoil that for you, but when you realize what that reason is, you root for her throughout the entire movie. And in this film, she meets a lot of characters in her mission, and all the characters are great. And you can argue that some of those characters aren't very well developed, but the reason why it didn't bother me is because they're so likable. And I realized that this movie has the opportunity for sequels or a Disney Plus animated show. So they can do that and expand the characters and the world more. And like I said before, it wasn't a problem for me. All the characters here are great. The voice acting is excellent. So you have Kelly Mary Tran, Daniel Day Kim, Benedict Wong, and Awakafina. So all of these actors, they do a great job. But I want to talk about Kelly Mary Tran real quick and say how happy I am for her because she played a character called Rose in the Star Wars movies. Well, specifically The Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker, whatever the last Star Wars movie was. And she received a lot of death threats because people hated her character so much. So it took a toll on her mentally. And she's back now with this movie, and she does such a terrific job in this film. I'm really happy for her. She came out with an interview saying that she's mentally doing a lot better. She's off social media for good, even though her PR agent is against that, but she doesn't care. She's worried about her mental health more. So I'm happy for her. It has done such an amazing job with the voice acting, and her character overall is definitely one of the better characters in recent Disney films. And one thing I want to point out too is that this film really feels so timely. I'm not someone who tries to get political on my channel, and I don't think this is really me trying to be political in any sense, but I feel like I should say that anyway before someone comments something. But what I want to say is that this film really talks about the importance of being united and not being so divided, and also the power of trusting people. Because in the United States, at least, we are so divided with what's going on. You know, it seems that when we have opportunities to be united, we just become more divisive. And this movie talks about how dangerous it is when we live in a society that's so divided and why it could be so beneficial if we all just work together. And it just feels so timely in that regard. So I'm really happy this movie came out now because now it's a great time to see this movie. It's really eye-opening in that way. But I just want to point out the fact as well that while I do like this movie a lot, I wouldn't say it's a Disney masterpiece. I think it's damn good, but it's not perfect. For example, I don't think all the jokes land. Mostly the humor works, but sometimes the humor, it's hit or miss. But like I said, for the most part, the humor works well. And there's a certain sequence in the middle that kind of puts the pacing at a halt, and not too terrible, but I kind of felt the pacing a little bit in that sequence, but other than that, this is still really good. And as I mentioned before, I love this mythology and this world so much. I really want to know more about it. But like I said, there are sequels that could happen or a prequel, because when Raya in the beginning talks about the history of the mythology, I was thinking this is like a whole movie or series that could be really expanded upon with the history of this mythology. And yeah, I'm glad Disney's making a movie like this. Well, they made a movie like this. I hope they make more movies in this vein. It's original, exciting, it's fun. Despite the fact that it's not one of my favorite Disney movies, I am so glad Disney made a movie like this. Representation is great, and yeah, I really had a good time. So I'm gonna give Raya and the Last Dragon an 8 out of 10. I would definitely recommend go checking it out. This is playing in theaters and it's on Disney Plus, but you have to pay $30 to watch it on Disney Plus. So if you're someone who has a family, if you have a wife, 2 kids, paying $30, it's going to be cheaper than you going to the movies and paying tickets for all of you individually. Or if you feel safe enough to go to the theaters, go and see it in the theaters. I saw it in Dolby, and it was a great experience. I know they're showing this movie in IMAX as well, and I'm sure watching it in IMAX will be fantastic because of how wonderful the animation is and how exhilarating the action scenes are. So props to Disney, man. This is really good. So, like I said, 8 out of 10. And that's my review of Raya and the Last Dragon. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I hope you guys take into consideration if you want to see this film or not. The next review will be for WandaVision, the miniseries on Disney Plus. That'll be coming out very soon, the review. And after that will be Coming to America. Obviously, that's an anticipated movie coming out, but I'll be reviewing that after WandaVision because my Instagram followers voted for WandaVision to be reviewed first, then Coming to America. But I'll be reviewing both in case you guys are wondering. Thank you guys again. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share it, and thank you guys again. I will see you guys next time. Take care. All right. Take it easy.